Scandal that is dominating the world of baseball and is reportedly threatening the career of one of the game's biggest stars. Today, national correspondent Jenna Wolf is here with the latest on this. Jenna, good morning.
Hey, Matt, good morning to you. Yeah, the New York Daily News reports this morning that injured Yankees slugger Alex Rodriguez is one of 9 players who will be suspended as early as this week. So, could this spell the end of A-Rod?
He was, by all accounts, baseball's savior. Now, Sports Illustrated says we're in the last days of A-Rod. The player who was supposed to heal the damage done by the steroid era may be in danger of becoming its poster boy.
One of the most astonishing talents the game has ever seen.
Good-looking, hard-working, clean, and loaded with talent. The youngest player ever to hit 500 home runs, he was on pace to break Barry Bonds' all-time record of 762. It was enough to earn him baseball's 2 biggest contracts ever, totaling $500 million. In 2004, he followed the bright lights to New York, Yankee Stadium, where he told Matt he was living a dream.
I look forward to, obviously, being the best baseball player I can be. For the coolest team in the world.
So how could someone with so much potential fall so quickly from grace? First, there was the steroid scandal, despite vehemently denying it back in 2007.
For the record, have you ever used steroids, human growth hormone, or any other performance-enhancing substance?
No.
At a press conference in the spring of 2009, a very different answer.
I experimented with a banned substance that eventually triggered a positive test.
And when the tabloids took aim, the fans followed. Then there was his play on the field, never quite good enough when it mattered most, at least not for the money he was making. There were other distractions as well. Hip surgery kept him in and out of rehab for the last 2 seasons. This photo shoot from Details magazine of A-Rod kissing his own reflection certainly didn't make things any better. Nor has his flair for Hollywood. He's been romantically linked to Kate Hudson, Cameron Diaz, and had a rumored fling with Madonna. A-Rod's lawyers have made it clear they'll fight any suspension or ban if and when it comes.
We're left with a guy, if any kind of ban comes down, where you're questioning whether he's been associated with PEDs his entire career.
And it's more than just about his legacy. The Yankees still owe him about $100 million over the next 4 years, money they might not need to pay if he is indeed suspended. Matt?
Jenna, thanks very much. Mike Lupica is a columnist for the New York Daily News. Mike, good morning. Good to see you.
Hey, Matt.
I keep trying to figure out a way to compare this to some other sports fall from grace, and the only name I keep coming up with is Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, and every one of the cases is different. You can throw Mike Tyson in there for what happened to him. And again, a completely different case. And Tiger Woods. I mean, it wasn't so long ago that he had a stunning fall from grace. But this is epic because it's baseball.
But if you look back to his days, A-Rod's days, playing in Seattle,
right.
He was so young. He was so promising. People thought, this guy's going to change the game of baseball. What happened?
Well, first of all, he's not only is he one of the most talented players I ever saw. Now you wonder how much of it came out of a bottle or at the end of a needle. He's also one of the biggest phonies on the history of the planet.
Why do you say that?
Because I have never met, in my time being a sports writer, anybody more insecure or more needy and needing to be loved than Alex Rodriguez. And people got that about him. And even before he came to New York, he's bad-mouthing Derek Jeter in a very famous Esquire story. And then he was surprised that people didn't embrace him.
Let's talk about this season that was supposed to be. Okay, he had the hip surgery, but he was going to come back, and this was going to be the year. At 37 years old, he just turned 38, but at 37 years old, this was going to be the year he was going to make a run at history.
Oh, 660, Willie Mays' home run total. One of the great magic numbers in baseball, and 3,000 hits. I don't know if he would have gotten to 3,000 when he was supposed to return, but now is he not going to get near 3,000 hits? Probably. It's become the summer of 3,000 lawyers instead.
Let's talk about the case against him. I think it's important to remind people that this time, this is not, from all reports, about a positive drug test. This is about non-analytical positives,
right.
Which means emails, texts, his name in books. And he may appeal this. By the way, there's also a possible case of obstruction of justice
Right.
that Jenna just talked about. So does he have a legitimate shot at appealing a suspension if it comes down?
Well, I think depending on what he's facing, and if there is some plea bargaining going on, they say there's no plea bargaining. I think when they sweated him in Tampa not long ago, they wanted him to start to know exactly what they have. It's more than diaries. Everything we know, it's more than diaries. It is voluminous emails, and I think that they started to let him know what they have. Does he have a chance to win on appeal? Yeah, Ryan Braun got appealed out of a positive drug test a year and a half ago, and now, but guess what happens now? He takes a 65-game ban.
Quote from the Sports Illustrated article, it says, quote, this is from A-Rod, I want to be a role model, continue to be a role model, especially to my girls. So all the noise sometimes gets on my nerves, but that's it. He wants to be a role model. Do you think this is a guy who fully understands the trouble he faces?
If he doesn't, then he's in complete denial or living on the planet Alex. If he most kids figure out how to cheat at the age of 9 or 10, so I don't think anybody needs him to be a role model for that. Everything he's done, Matt, he did to himself. Every public relations decision he made himself. He has put himself into this situation. Everybody's closing in on him. I don't know if he can get out of this time.
Mike Lupica. Mike, as always, thanks very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate